Hi, this is Rabbi Chaim Kaufman. Welcome to our 281st installment in the fourth portion of the week. We are holding on Parshas Vayeitze, all about Jacob going to find a wife, and he meets Rachel, and the whole thing that he works for Rachel, and then he gets swindled by Lavan, and ends up being Rachel and all the kids that Leah has and the maidservants have, and all that. So pretty packed parsha here. So the Torah says, chapter 28, verse 15, right? In the book of Genesis, the Torah says, behold, God says to Yaakov, he says, behold, I'm with you. I'll guard you wherever you go. I'll return you to the soil. I will not forsake you. I will have done what I have spoken to you. So God makes a promise. Right? God makes a promise. He's going to take care of him. Right? He's going to take care of Yaakov. He's going to take care of his needs. Etc. So basically promises that Yaakov got nothing to worry about. Right? That's what the Torah here tells me. So the Gemara in Brachos 4a tells me like this, that God says over here that I'm going to protect you, I'm going to guard you, and everywhere you go, don't worry, I'm going to be with you. But then it says, Yaakov had tremendous fear. Right? Why does he have fear over here? What's the problem? God over here says, I'm going to take care of your needs. I'm going to do what I need to do. So you have nothing to worry about. So where's the fear? Why does he have fear? Right? So the Gemara says, what's the fear? He's going to sin. He's afraid. He may sin. And if he sins, what's God going to do? God is going to take away. He's going to take away from his merits. Right? He's going to take away from his merits. From the good things he's done. So it says, my Rebbe, this should be well. And he brings down a Chokhmah V'das, commentary on Chumash. And he says, I don't understand. How can it be that if God's going to help and God's going to watch over a person in a way that we shouldn't lose our merits, shouldn't lose our reward, right? How's that going to work? How essentially is that going to work? That's hard to understand. That why should we lose out? Because God's going to help us. And God's going to guard us. The Rebbe points out, in the name of Rav Yisrael Salanter, founder of the Muslim movement, founder of the ethics movement, and what did Rav Yisrael Salanter say? He said this world is like an expensive hotel. So if a person, God forbids, gets a lot of wealth in this world, maybe from things he's done, good things he's done, whatever the case is, right? Maybe over here he's going to lose out in other ways. Because if he gets a lot in this world, maybe it's going to offset. Maybe what he did, the mitzvahs that he did, gets taken away because maybe he's getting paid now. Maybe he's getting paid now. Because the hotel in the parable, hotel's expensive. Right? Even if you want to eat, let's say in a restaurant. Right? If you want to eat in a restaurant there, it's expensive. Definitely not cheap. Definitely not cheap. So you're going to pay a price. You pay a lot. When people work in the hotel, they get food for free. Their needs get taken care of for free. Why? Because since they're working for the hotel, and since they're helping out, so they get to eat there. They get a benefit. So too in this world. Then if we use this world to do what? Not just to feed our stomachs, but to do mitzvahs. And our houses are open to the poor, to have guests. And we give money to charity, we help others, and we do the right thing. We also should also get reward. Shouldn't lose anything. In other words, if we use what we have in the right way, you don't lose. Using this world for spirituality, for mitzvahs, for Torah, for charity. Right? Why should you lose out? Shouldn't lose out over here. So Yaakov Avinu, in all his holiness, what is he afraid of? He's afraid that he's working all these years in the house of Lavan. He's afraid he's going to lose out. Right? And he's working and he's busy. He's not working hard enough for ruchnius, spirituality. And therefore, he can lose out. He can lose out over here. That what? And if he enjoys this world too much, maybe that's his reward. Maybe in spiritual terms, the reward he's supposed to get later, he's not going to get. He's afraid. What does God promise him? God says, I'm going to take care of your needs. I'm going to guard you. You have nothing to worry about. Right? So what does it say for us? How should we view this over here? So simply, we should say, right? Or maybe we would say, well, better struggle in this world. Better to have difficulty. Because then you don't use up your reward in the next one. But maybe if we're too much invested in this world, then God is giving what he already promised us, what we're supposed to get in the spiritual world. So maybe we used it up. And God forbid not have anything there. God says, Yaakov, no. Now you don't have to worry. Now I'm going to guard you. So we have to be careful. We're allowed to benefit from this world. We're allowed to use this world for our needs. But we have to remember what the most important thing is. The most important thing is keeping Torah mitzvahs. Going in the right direction. Yeah, you eat, you're going to make a blessing. You ate bread, you're going to say grace after meals. We got to do mitzvahs. You got to keep Torah. But you don't want to get carried away. Right? Like the parable over here by Yisrael Salanter. This world is like an expensive hotel. You're going to have to pay. To pay a high price. So we could be worried that if I enjoy too much in this world and I get too much benefits, then what about what I lose? What I potentially could lose? What about that next world? What about the reward? You can say I worked all this and now it's all going to get used up because I used it too much for physical things. Now we have to live, have to eat. What we're saying over here is you have to know how. You have to have limitations. The Ramban in Parshas Kedoshim, very beginning, Parshas Kedoshim in the book of Leviticus, right? We say that, right? God is holy, so we have to be like Him. We have to be holy. What does the Ramban say? The Ramban says just because things are permissible doesn't mean I'm allowed to abuse them. Meaning, a person's allowed to eat. You're not allowed to be a glutton. A person's allowed to drink. You're not allowed to be an alcoholic. You're allowed to benefit from these things. But he's telling you have to know how. You can't abuse them. So we have to know how to live in this world. We have to know what is good for me, what's bad for me. And if I know something bad for me, I have to stay away from it. And I have to work very hard to stay away from it. And God forbid I could lose out. All the good that a person did when you get carried away. You got carried away in the physical world. It's not what God wanted. So a person's allowed to eat. You need to eat to sustain the body. You sustain the body, you sustain the soul. Right? But who says I did 20 pounds overweight, 50 pounds overweight? There are people who like to eat. Food today has become a avodah zarah. Become idolatry. All I have to do is watch what people eat and how much they eat. One of the things that Israel Salanter was fond of saying, even if a person's very hungry, leave a little bit over from your plate. Don't eat everything. Show a little bit of discipline, a little bit of self-control. I mean, tell me you're hungry, you want to eat, okay? But who says we're like Esau? Shovel it in. They know how to eat. I've seen many times. It's the amount of food people eat. It's insane. Again, it doesn't mean you can't eat. Doesn't mean you have to be fasting all the time. You have to know how to eat. You have to know how much to eat. But here, there's a warning. If a person has too much in this world, what should we be worried about potentially? That we lose out later in the spiritual. He gets knocked off from the good things we've done. So what do we have to focus on? We have to focus on the good things. That has to be our main focus. And the idea being, I have to know how to use this world. A lot of people get carried away. Way carried away. Waste money on all kinds of things that they could be helping others. Doesn't mean they don't do mitzvahs. But a person has to have discipline. We get carried away. Very easy. Very easy to get distracted in this world. Very, very easy. We got to live within our means. We got to help others. When we help others, we help ourselves. But yeah, we should be worried. If a person's successful, how do you know? Right? He's brought this down other places also. How do you know you don't lose out later? How do you know God hasn't given you a reward now? You don't. Our assumption is that we still want to grow. We still want to learn. We still want to be the best we can be in spiritual terms. Gotta work hard. Should we really think that I'm really going to lose out because I'm trying to go in the right way? Yaakov was worried. What does God want to see from us? God wants to see that we're trying, that we're making an effort. Yeah, there's stumbling blocks. We fail at many things. Okay, He wants to see it. We're making the effort, but really trying to make the effort. Because if not, God can say, I'm just going to knock off what you did. I'll give it to you now. It's like Asaph. It's like Asaph wanted cash now. He wanted the reward now. He lost out in a serious way. So you might think maybe we want to cash in also. Right? But physical things are not good for us in many ways. We got to be very, very, very careful. Right? We have to know how to use them. When we use them in the wrong way, it can be held against us. That's the point. So even if we failed, you got to pick yourself up and work harder. What it's all about, as we always say, it's about changing our mentality. Changing the way we think. That's what it's about. That's not so easy. But you have to know what you're living for. You have to know what your goals are in spiritual terms. You have to know what you're up against. Right? And then you got to go out and beat it on a daily basis. That's what we got to do. And sometimes it's easier. Sometimes it's more difficult. We all have trials and tribulations. We always say. I got to have that fear. I have to have in the back of my mind, how do I know? How do I know I'm not using up all the merits that I got? How do I know? So you say, well, not doing so well in the physical world. You know what I say monetarily. So you say, good. I'm not doing that well, so I'm not losing over here. You don't know. We don't know. So the idea is we want to go on the right path. We want to do the right thing. We want to have the right mentality. We want to know what we're looking at. We want to know the bigger picture. That's the first thing. Understand what it is. Then go out and acquire it, to the best of your ability. And don't get caught up in the physical world. Easier said than done. But don't get caught up in it, because it's a very slippery slope. Right? Sometimes a person can slip and fall and just never recover. Because we're creatures of habit. Do all kinds of things, And the fact that we do them over and over and over again, we got to break bad habits. Break bad cycles. A lot of factors involved. But I think, again, the main thing is how I view what I'm supposed to be doing here. Right? Then you got to make a plan around that in order to fulfill it. So you think, well, that's a hard thing. You're right. Ravisto Salanter once said, hard to change even one character trait. One bad character trait. So we should give up? Throw in the towel? No. Got to work hard. We have to understand what we're doing. And then we have to go out and do it. I want to remind everyone, I have class on duties of the heart every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, Gate of Self-Accounting. Every Sunday, Pack Day, Book of Leviticus, chapter 16, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 o'clock Israel Time, No Hide Nations, No Hide Laws, every Sunday, 2:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 Israel Time. I do Q&As every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Israel Time. Tanakh Talk, controversial issues, every Sunday, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Pirkei Avos, Ethics of Our Fathers, every Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 o'clock Israel Time, conversion classes. All right. Anyone interested in any of this, find me on Facebook at Michael Chaim Kaufman, or Beyond Orthodox Conversion to Judaism on Facebook or on YouTube at Beyond Orthodox Conversion Judaism. Or you can send me an email, rabbichaimkaufman@gmail.com, RBBIChaimCoffman @gmail.com.